Well, hello there. How is everyone? You beautiful, beautiful people. I hope you are having a wonderful, wonderful week. And guess what? Today is actually Thursday. Yesterday, not Thursday. Today, Thursday. We've put that right now. Anyway, before we get on to some meat and potatoes, I just want to give you a heads up. There's going to be two videos today. Two videos which are going to mark the last two videos of the current kind of messed up setup where we're transitioning into the new studio, and in sort of celebration of that, there will be one person who comments on video 1 and video 2, not the same person, different people. So anyone who comments gets a chance to win one of 2 of the Harsh hoodies. That's right, and they will be my own. They will be ones that me personally I have had and have been seen on this channel. So if you want to be in with a chance to win them, comment on the videos today, and within your comment just put hashtag hoodie. That's it. That's all you got to do. Hashtag is that symbol which is like a noughts and crosses board. You know what I mean? Do that. Anyway, straight into the meat and potatoes. As in the description of this video, there is a video link that's going to take you over to Unfiltered Lucky. Because Unfiltered Lucky, he's a good guy. He's a good guy. He's quite good looking. The ladies all like him. The ladies all like him. If you don't know who he is already, head over. Go check him out. He's very much like myself, likes to spitball. And that's what we're going to be doing in the two videos today. The second one is going to spitball pretty much about something, little details that around Bethany and Dylan on the morning after this crime, that looks at the PCA, things that were said in the PCA or Exhibit fucking A, whatever it's fucking called. But we're going to be looking at that because there's some things that, to me, don't sit right. And they're not things that we've actually covered specifically. So we get on with it. Anyway, look, Unfiltered Lucky speaks about the targeting or potential targeting of 1122 King Road. He talks about the fact that, look, this was a party house, and we've turned around and said, do you know what, it don't really make a lot of sense that the person who did this crime, which we've been led to believe is possibly Brian Kohberger, would have walked into this house when there was a potential for there being so many people. And do you know what I mean? I've always thought about that. I've always thought, do you know what? You've got to have some stones and to think, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to jump in my car and I'm going to drive over to 1122 King Road, this house that I've been checking out and I know is a party house, and I'm going to just stroll in there, dressed like fucking Shinobi, and execute people in the house. But Unfiltered Lucky raises some valid points because he turns around and says, look, that could have in fact played to his advantage. A house that many, many people frequent, a house that there's people in and out, there'd probably be noise and stuff like that. There's going to be loads and loads of DNA left behind there. It's going to be like a DNA farm in there, pretty much like any house, but the point being that he could potentially go in this house and be masked, be sort of hidden. But again, Unfiltered Lucky raised a point. That's the first thing that come to my mind. But then why would you yourself dress up like Shinobi so you stand out in a crowd? If you're going into a house with the thought process of I'm going to go into this house and do this crime when there's loads of people here, that changes the entire dynamic of this crime. Now, I feel that if somebody thought to themselves, I'm just going to go into this house and cause a massive amount of damage while there's a party going on, and no one's really going to know who did it because there's so many people there, and it's going to be a bit of a nightmare for law enforcement. But then you think to yourself, hold on, because people are going to turn around and say, well, we was at this party, and to be fair, there was one person who stuck out like a sore thumb because he was dressed like a ninja, and we're pretty sure that it might have been the Ninja Man, and potentially someone would have then seen the white Hyundai Elantra and we'd have been back to where we are now. So it's still a bit of a bone of contention to me in terms of 1122 King Road being a targeted house, in terms of he knows it's a party house and we're gonna use that to our advantage. I personally, I don't think that's the case here. The more I think about this crime, the more I think about how it was done, and more specifically when it was done, the time frame itself. Now, the time frame is, again, a bone of contention, because I personally don't think this crime happened at the time that's been being pushed. I don't. I think there's a potential this crime either happened at least 2 hours earlier, or in effect, it could have happened later. Could have happened later. Look, what proof do we have that the crime took place when it did? What genuinely? What do we know? What as in terms of the public? What do we know? We know that Kathy Mabbutt come out and seemingly alluded to the fact that it did happen earlier. We know there's a white Hyundai Elantra in the area, which we seem to have been conditioned to believe that the killer drove this car, but we don't know that. We're not 100% sure that's the case. We're just bringing the white Hyundai Elantra into the mix because it matches up with the time that they're trying to push as being the time that this crime happened. But that could just be trying to make a round peg fit a square hole, which we've talked about. But like I say, Unfiltered Lucky, you need to go and watch that video. Go check it out and see what you think. Because the house being targeted, and the house being targeted specifically about or because the dynamic of that house, for some people, I think that that's going to make a lot of sense. They're going to feel that, yeah, do you know what? Maybe that was the case. This was just somebody who wanted to commit an atrocity and was looking for a house that fit the bill. But then I think to myself, but if this person, right, has gone over to this house and they've thought to themselves, there is a potential that I'm going to have to break into this house. Because they must have thought that, I've said this before, they must have thought there's a chance that they're going to get over there and that house is locked. They're going to get into the house and the doors are locked. So with that in mind, if this person is just looking to kill, then why not just go to any house between Moscow and Idaho? Why venture out of an area that doesn't have the death penalty as a penalty for it, just on the off chance you get caught, and venture into one that are going to screw you over? They're going to execute you. That, to me, has always been something that doesn't make sense. Which, to me, the house situation kind of falls by the wayside, because that's a hell of a risk. And I can't imagine that this person didn't know this. Again, unless you want to put it, again, with the list of things that were done in this crime that was absolute stupidity. Driving your own car, leaving a witness, getting caught on multiple cameras outside, leaving your DNA there. You know, there's beginning to be an abundance of issues. And to be honest, the thing what makes me wonder about these things that we look at and we think, you know what, is this guy just that stupid that he did all this and made these many mistakes? And they are genuine mistakes, and it is a slam dunk. I can't see this case being that simple. I can't see this case being a slam dunk, because I can't imagine that what we're seeing in terms of the backwards and forwards with the prosecution and the defence and the lack of discovery transparency and the gag after gag after gag, or the, how can I say, the hide in the docks. I appreciate that there's certain things that they're trying to say that they're protecting because of the grand jury indictment, but why did they even go down the route of grand jury indictment if indeed all of these things that we're talking about proved that this was a slam dunk, proved that it was Brian Kohberger, and there was no escape? Just go to a preliminary hearing and get it all done with, and that would have saved so many issues. It would have saved so much money. It would have been the cheaper route to take. But look, I suppose my conclusion in this is I can't see this being a targeted house. I can't see they were factoring in the fact that I can utilise the fact that this is a party house to mask what I'm doing. Because by driving their own car and getting caught on camera, which they must do, do you know what I mean? There's no way, hell on earth, that they didn't contemplate that. And I just feel that to take those risks, if we want to believe it was Brian Kohberger, then I think that if you want to believe that the house was targeted, then you can't then turn around and say that Brian Kohberger fits that crime. Because I think it's too big of a risk for him to take, to target a house when there's an abundance of other houses that didn't pose that risk. It makes no sense to take that risk at this house. Does that make sense? What was so important about that house that you even had to contemplate going into there? Going from this state to this state to do it? I don't get it. The only thing that makes sense to me was that someone inside that house was a target. It was very specific to who was in there. And we have received information that would lead you to believe, again, that the target was potentially either Maddie or Kaylee. Some may even think that Kaylee was the person who was targeted here, because that was the only factor that was an anomaly in this house. She wasn't usually here. She was here on this night specifically. And the injuries that she sustained, as per Steve Gonsalves, they were a lot different than the other injuries of the other people sustained. You could almost say that Xana and Ethan were just simply collateral damage. They heard something, they come out, and what happened, happened. And that does, again, what we've touched on before, raise questions then with Bethany and Dylan. And we're going to touch on that in video 2, because there's something that has always bothered me in the PCA Exhibit A, whatever it's called. There is something really strange there that brings that entire morning and after this crime into question. So keep your eyes out for video 2 later on today. But let me know down below, what do you think? Do you believe that this house was indeed targeted? That the fact this was a party house and people in and out and all the DNA that would have been there would have factored into the decision to actually go into this house and do this crime here? And if you do believe in that, then can you believe that Brian Kohberger was the person who came in and done that, and he'd used that as a catalyst to do the crime? Because I can't fit that. I can understand that someone locally could have targeted that house and thought that they would have blended into the background, so to speak, but I can't see someone coming from Washington into Moscow to do this if they are indeed utilising the house and the way it is to factor into their decision to do it. Seems more personal, that to me. Not to do with the house. Bricks and mortar. It ain't bricks and mortar. This is blood and bone. I'll catch you all in the next one.